Hello, my fellow Ripplers. This is Chris Miles, your cash flow expert and anti-financial advisor. Guys, welcome to our show that's for you and it's about you. Those of you that work so hard for your money, and you're ready for your money to start working harder for you now. You want that freedom, that cash flow today, not 30 or 40 years from now, right? You want it right now. So you can live that life that you love with those that you love. But more importantly, beyond just having that life of ease and comfort, right? It's about having a life of meaning and purpose, be able to bless more lives, because as you're blessed financially, you can create a ripple effect in the lives of others. And guys, I'm so excited that I've been able to share my ripple effect through you guys. I appreciate you guys binging on these episodes and been sharing them and doing everything that you do and applying these things, because as you do that, as you start to prosper, people start to watch. And when that happens, people's lives start to change, but it starts with you first. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing and being a part of this movement. As a reminder, you can check out our website, moneyripples.com. There's great episodes on there, as well as blogs and other things you can get access to. Plus, by the way, go check out our YouTube channel, the Money Ripples with Chris Miles page. Subscribe there today. All right, guys. So today I've got a special guest that was referred to me. I know we've had on guests like Adam Adams before and other people. Well, they recommended this guy. They said, hey, this is somebody you should definitely look for. And his name is Prashant Kumar. Now, this will give you a little backstory on him, right? He's had a very strong technology and management background for the last 25 years. He's been in IT. And I know a lot of you that follow me are in that same industry. So listen up, because this could be the path just ahead of yours right now. He's owned everything from single families to multifamilies that are hundreds of units, even hundreds and hundreds of units that he has. He has over 1,200 units they just did in 2019 all over the country. He's been doing real estate everywhere. He's even doing assisted living and been doing stuff with that. And he's even been willing to be a mentor and willing to share his knowledge with people too. And so I'm excited to have him here, coming from Long Island, New York. Prashant, welcome.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thanks for your time today. I'm so excited to be here. And I wish whatever I say, hopefully that is fruit for our listeners.
Yeah. Now you've been doing real estate for the last 5 years. Tell us, like, how'd you go from just being in IT management to all of a sudden wanting to jump into real estate? What was that trigger moment for you?
See, I call it, and you have heard it, I have golden handcuffs. I get paid so much in my job that it is so difficult for me to quit.
Mm-hmm.
But when I don't work, like right now, I'm not working, I'm not getting paid. I'm trading my time with money basically in that job. So over a period of time, 20 years of experience, I realized that I had to build something more residual for me, which can work for me even though I'm I'm sleeping, right? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
I'm taking a break. So that kind of triggered, and one of my family members said, Prashant, you have to buy a single family home and let him start cash flowing a couple of $100 for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my beginning. And in 1 year itself, I ended up buying couple of single families. I had mentors. I bought multifamily also in the first year.
Wow.
That's how I started basically. That was
Yeah.
my first year.
And was that scary for you? Was it scary to make that leap?
It was very scary. I mean, of course, for obvious reasons, as I said, I make a good amount of money in my job, but I had mentor, and basically, she helped me, and I had a bunch of people who were doing real estate. I never did it.
Yeah.
So I had a couple of, I'm just, knock on the wood. I was a little fortunate to connect with the right people at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I just took a leap of faith. I said, listen, I'm just going to jump in. I mean, nobody's going to take away this home that I'm buying. It is going to sit there. Maybe I'll lose $20,000 on it.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't bother me at that time. And I said, I all in, I jumped in and I said, let me jump in and start learning how to swim.
Yeah.
So that was my mindset. Unless I jump in, I would not know how to swim. I can talk about it, read about it, but I would not know anything about it unless I really jump into that pool.
Hey, for those of you listening, and I know there's a lot of you listening that have the money, just like Prashant did too, right? You have the money to do it, but then it's like, oh, do I jump in or not? Maybe the prices are too high. What he just said is gold, right? You just got to at some point jump in. You really got to jump in and experience it, don't you?
That was a time when the market was not so high 5 years ago. I mean, it
Yeah.
was it was getting there 4 5 years ago. I started with foreclosures or REOs.
Mm.
That was the strategy from my mentor. She said, buy, rent, rehab, rent, and refi, and all that.
Uh-huh.
So I started on that path. I bought cheaper homes, less than $100,000 each, a couple of them. But then I realized it's not worth my time. It takes just too much time to take one loan on a small home, like two, three
Yeah.
months. And then I had to, jump into multifamily. That's how
Gotcha.
my journey started, in multifamily. One
Yeah.
couple of homes, then couple of multifamilies. Then I realized even multifamily buying from my own money is not enough. I
Hmm.
cannot scale it. So that's when the
Right.
syndication journey started.
Especially when you have a ton of money. When you've got hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's hard to just buy, multifamily at 30, $40,000 a down payment. That takes a lot of work and effort if you've got a half million or $1 million sitting around, doesn't it?
Your money has to dry up. I mean, every
Yeah.
money is limited, right? So
Yeah.
single family to multifamily to syndication. That's how this is my journey within first year itself. In the end of the first year, I was actually in a syndication deal.
Hmm.
In the first year of my real estate journey, I was in a syndication deal that had
Yeah.
started with three single families, some multifamily which I bought on my portfolio, and then multifamily right away.
Yeah. You basically played Monopoly, didn't you? You started with one house, then you got multiple houses, and now you're upgrading to hotels and
Yeah, sort of, yes.
yeah.
But it was a learning process. You end
Hmm.
up learning, and you trust people. I was going all over the places, meeting all the people. I was doing the due diligences on
Hmm.
many properties. I was going to all the seminars. I think, to me, if I look back, the most important thing is the relationships that I created on the way.
Yes.
That was the most important thing, because those relationships brought me a lot back.
Hmm.
When I was opening up and giving, I said, listen, buddy, I went to a syndicator. I said, listen, I'm going to just work for you for free.
Wow.
My time was not free. I mean, of course,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
get
you're
paid.
very busy.
Uh, I said, I'm going to just work for you for free for six, whatever, 6 months, a year, whatever it takes. And I
Yeah.
did spend a lot of time, 4 or 5 months with him, 6 months, at least 4 or 5 hours a day. And I
Wow.
just kept on helping him on his project. I mean, whatever project came in, I was just doing everything on the project. So I could actually write a book. The amount I learned from him. And whatever project we closed, I became the general partner in those projects, by the way. So
Oh, wow.
that was another thing. Into syndication, the best thing I could see was to help others and help selflessly, and you will get it back.
Yeah. Yeah. You were an unpaid intern it wasn't like you were just working part time. You were working a full time or even overtime job doing what you were doing and still managed to do that in your overtime hours. Right. I mean, that's incredible.
Just about 4 or 5 hours a day. It is not, and every day, 4, 5,
Yeah.
7 days a week, and Saturday, Sunday, even more than that.
Hmm.
So I learned so much through for working for others that I cannot. It's just not possible for me to learn through just listening or reading videos or whatever. It's just not
Right.
possible.
No, you got to have that hands on experience. Yeah, that's great. And with that, did you, did you start to see patterns as you started to go along? And was this multiple deals you did this or just one deal?
This was the most difficult deal, which
Mhm.
was my first deal.
Yeah.
So I had so much experience that I gained from the deal. It was like 555 units deal,
Wow.
55%, 35% down units, 50% economic vacancy.
Hmm.
So nobody wanted to touch this deal. Lenders did not want to lend.
Uh-huh.
Managers didn't want to manage. Construction guy would not want to come and manage that. I mean, manage the construction. So we had so much. We were retraded by the lender 3 times.
Wow.
We were retraded by property managers like 5 times before the
Hmm.
closing. You name it, all the aspects of a difficult deal I
Hmm.
was handling, talking to all these people on my dime, my time. And
Wow.
I learned so much. I mean, after that, I mean, even though, I mean, the sad story is the last night of this project retraded by our private equity partner. So we had to come out of the deal.
Uh-huh.
But it was very sad experience at that time.
Yeah.
But I take it positively that I learned so much from that deal. I made so many connections from that deal,
Hmm.
and I was able to find two deals within the next 3 months.
Wow. That's great.
So one deal did not go through, but other two, we just found other deals, right away.
Yeah.
So that's the highlight of my journey the first year. After that, things start rolling. You go from one deal to another deal. It is easier when you have driven your car in the snow while learning how to drive.
Hmm.
Once the snow is over, you can drive it like that, right? Very
Right.
easy. After that, it just became so easy for me to continue to do what I do.
Yeah. And do you feel like you're doing more of a system as you're doing deals now? Like it's a very, very smooth system for you?
So now it has become almost as a second nature, right? When the deal
Yeah.
comes in, you have a deal pipeline. When the
Mhm.
deal comes in, you have a deal pipeline. I spend 10 minutes before I even, if it is a three cap deal, I would not touch it. So I don't even
Mhm.
send it to my underwriter. I send only the deals which are useful for my underwriter to spend time, because of course there's a cost there. So I let him underwrite those deals. Once he underwrites, we have a meeting, then put an LOI. So it has become sort of a system. It's a cycle,
Yeah.
so to say. You have connections with the lenders. They are willing to talk to you very easily. You have connections with the property managers. You have connections with the construction managers.
Hmm.
We do only third party construction or third party property management.
Uh-huh.
Uh, so it has become sort of a process. So we have asset manager. Once we acquire it, it goes to the asset manager. So she takes care of other portion. Uh, but now it is more of a process, so to say. Yes, you are right, Chris.
Yeah. I often tell people on this show that boring is sexy, right? The more monotonous almost, right? The more you've done a deal over and over and over and it fits your parameters and your rules so often, it's just boring. It's like, okay, I've done this dozens of times. Let's do it again. And those are the best deals that, from my perspective, when I'm a passive investor, those are the
Yeah,
best deals to invest in, right?
because a lot of experience has already been
Hmm.
put in to make it streamlined, right? So
Yeah.
to your point, yes, I agree with you that those which are boring, they have already been vetted out.
Right. That's great.
Everybody has done their due diligence correctly, and now all it is you are just churning it and making it work
Yeah.
for your investors.
Now you
Yeah.
do a lot of stuff in different states. You're in New York, but obviously New York is not a very good place to do real estate investing in. It's not very friendly for landlords. But you do it in multiple states. And I hear all the time from people saying, I just don't want to do anything outside my own backyard. I don't want to do something out of state. What would you say to them?
I kind of agree that people have fears not doing things out of their backyard.
Yeah.
But in our case, we never had a choice. I mean, New York is
Mhm.
just not the place to do things, right? So we
Yeah.
had to rely on other states. I mean, to me, actually, it is better because I'm not there. Somebody responsible who's getting paid is there. Somebody
Yeah.
who's accountable. I don't have to pick up my car and drive 2 hours to get to the property if the water is breaking, or 30 minutes. If there is a fire, the local guy is going to take care of it. I do not want to be there. I mean,
Hmm.
as much as I want to be, but my time is more important, right?
Yeah.
Let a competent person handle that. I mean, if I have to, I will go. So to me, it has worked out, and it is better because I can continue to focus on what I do best rather than getting involved in every nitty and gritty details of
Yes.
tenants not paying the rent, or there is a small fire, or
Hmm.
meeting the construction manager. I don't have to do that because everything can be done online on Zoom nowadays.
Hmm.
What is the reason for me to be there? Why am I worried about that property has to be in my backyard? For
Right.
that matter, I mean, we are doing the business in the United States. I mean, you are connected everywhere in the world now, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Zoom doesn't matter whether you are sitting in Utah, for all
Mhm.
that matters, you may be in Japan or Singapore
Yeah.
talking, or maybe in the next door next to me. So it's the same thing. So with
Yeah.
the properties also, as long as you're with the right people on the ground, you're the right team, that's all it matters, in
Yeah.
this business.
I actually got happier with real estate when I started investing passively outside of Utah, right? Like outside of the West and in places that were better markets, where it's more stable and better returns, right?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I have few single families in New York, and
Hmm.
they take more time, more attention from me than my 1,200 unit portfolio. Uh, Truly, I mean, I mean, they really take more time.
Yeah,
And
I
like
believe it.
constantly in my mind, renter is not paying the rent or what, blah blah blah. So I said, listen, that's enough. I'm gonna just get rid of these, because it's not worth my attention. You know.
Well, and that's a great segue because I know, like with your bio, you say that you're really passionate about helping ultra busy professionals, which there's a lot of those people that follow me as well, right? For those guys that want to be, they're ultra busy. Obviously, like passive investing is really the best way for them to go. They don't want to be active investors. They just want to say, I've got cash. How
Yeah.
do I deploy it? Where do I put it? Like, what would you say to them?
See, basically, I think the real problem is those who are scared about passive investing
Hmm.
is that they don't understand what it really means.
Mm,
They feel that they are giving money in their really in their mind. They feel that they are lending money or giving money to somebody
right.
without collateral. The satisfaction of owning the real estate is not there in their heart. They do not know.
Yeah.
My message to them is, guys, you are owner of a property. You are part owner of a property. Instead of you buying a single family whole in your name,
Hmm.
one single family in your name, you are buying a bigger asset, maybe $10 million asset, and 10 of you are putting the money. You are owning some percentage of that building in your name.
Right.
That is the fundamental fact. You are owning a real estate, and your real estate is being managed by professionals,
Yes.
those who live, breathe, eat real estate all the time.
Hmm.
So they are putting the right efforts to get the maximum value out of that real estate for you. So you are getting fundamental benefits of all the real estate investing:
Hmm.
ownership, satisfaction, appreciation, cash flow, and the most important thing is depreciation
Yeah.
that you do not get in single family. You depreciate your single family in 27 years. Multifamily, we do the bonus uh, depreciation and cost segregation studies. We
Hmm.
depreciate that at a much faster rate,
Hmm.
and that may actually reduce the tax liability on you, depending upon your situation. I'm not a CPA. So
Hmm.
multifamily gives much more advantage, much more. I mean, these are not apples and oranges. I mean, these are like a lemon and the watermelon, so to say. There are so many advantages over single families in multifamily. So those who are investing, they are truly owning the real estate. And when I invest passively in others' deal, that's the best thing. You cut the check, and I sit back and relax, and I
Hmm.
see monthly reports, what's going on, and at the end, I get that fact. I mean, I get during the time period, I get the cash flow,
Hmm.
and then I get the fat check at the end when the property is sold,
Right.
and it was done professionally.
Yeah.
Yes, those who do it, they charge a little bit of money. Of course, they have to live also,
Hmm.
but overall, you get much more benefit. So that's my message to them. And for that, to kind of communicate this, I have created a 7-day email course. Very simple on my website, myrealtygains.com. Somebody puts their email address, they start getting one email at a day for 7 days. And these are my videos in which I explain this a little bit more deeper how they can get the benefit out of it. So that's my message, so to say, for the listeners, that guys, look into it if you have money. And I know this is not your, I mean, if you're a doctor or an attorney, this is not your expertise,
Hmm.
and let experts handle it for you, and still you get the benefit out of it, right? I
Right.
mean, it, Chris, more than I do. You have been out there, done there, been there, done that. And the
Mhm.
same message I want to communicate: there are tons of people out there who would be helping you out on the journey, on your journey. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to look at your stock market account every day. Somebody else is taking care of it for you.
That's good because we're anti-stock market here. So that's great.
I am anti stock market. That's what I know about.
Yeah. So you said it was myrealtygains.com, correct?
myrealtygains.com. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Everybody check that out. That's great. A great give right there. I think people can get a lot of good information from. So Prashant, I really appreciate your time today. That's fantastic. And this is great. I love hearing your experience. Thank you so much for sharing it.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Chris.
You bet. So everybody will put in the show notes, but definitely go check out myrealtygains.com and get those little 7 course that Prashant had talked about there because I'm telling you, like, it just starts with one, right? I mean, you might start, maybe depending on what the situation you're in, you might start with single family. You might be able to jump into multifamily. But the key is, like he said, is get mentor, make sure you're doing it correctly and make sure you have ownership, have something that actually has ownership and control. You don't have that in the stock market. You don't have that in the traditional financial world. But that's the thing that actually not only gives you better control and peace of mind, but it gives you better returns too. And so everybody definitely go check that out, myrealtygains.com. But hey, everybody, in the meantime, have a wonderful and prosperous week. We'll talk to you later.
Visit us online at moneyripples.com.